Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Hi Spiker Christensen. The fingers and the head, I don't know. I just think of a bowling ball. That was so disturbing. I don't know what it was. Pinocchio. I think the new Disney live action remakes are getting really scary these days, guys. It scarred me for life. Anyway, we've got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't have a quote either, just the little bell. Ding.
Ding. He's like, your bell, it's flat. It's just a few tones off. Yeah. My igneous rocks. I hope they aren't damaged. Okay, we're not talking about that movie. All right. We've got Grant Mickle on the podcast.
Do I look stupid? The blind girl says, I have no idea what you look like. You sound stupid.
Good job, Grant. You took notes of the movie.
I only have two quotes. That's it.
Oh, I have another one. Oh, while you had your back turned, he went in there with you, man.
Oh my gosh.
So good, dude.
That was
Oh, man.
so freaky.
Yeah.
Guys, today we're reviewing Oddity. And speaking of oddities, this podcast is no longer going to be edited by Jordan. So if we say anything untoward to groups of people, whether it be race, religion, sex, it doesn't matter. We're not trying to offend you. And
You're speaking
Yes, they are.
men and male
but
and
I am trying to
female.
offend you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because we
Okay,
wouldn't want to
sure.
mention sex because that could get really uncomfortable very quickly. Or gender identity, I suppose. We just want listeners to have a good time, but we're no longer going to be editing what we're saying. So Cameron's filth that he's always saying,
And
I'm sorry. So listeners will put a disclaimer before the episode airs, but Jordan has bigger and better things to do. So he's actually just coming on as a guest because he'll no longer be attaching his name. So come crucify me and Cameron, but do
like
not come after
like
Jordan.
Pontius Pilate, I'm washing my hands of this
Washing his
podcast.
hands of this putrid filth. Oh,
Yeah.
filth, slime, rubbish, muck. Jordan's done, dude. He's out. So anyway, so moving forward, maybe we'll all enjoy ourselves a little bit more and we won't self-censor, or maybe we should be self-censoring because we say a lot of stuff. So today we're getting into the episode. We're talking about oddity. Oddity? Oddity is a weird word to say. Like it's just
It
a
is.
word.
Especially
But
for a horror movie.
well, I always
So,
think of the Spanish para ti, so it's for you. Para ti. Oddity. Oddity is para ti. This actually, if you want to know how to roll your R's in Spanish and you can't do it, say pot of tea really quick. You can say para ti. You can kind of roll your R's. You can learn by just saying pot of tea really quick. Para ti, para ti, para ti. Just thought you guys would see. You guys learned something new. See, Jordan probably would have edited this out because he thinks Mexicans are filthy, or maybe he thinks it's just their language that's filthy. But and we're off to a good start. All right,
Oh,
listeners, let's get into it. Jordan, I have a
I should
question
just
for
make
you.
sure any future employers don't watch this podcast with me on
Yes,
it.
that's right. Well, I was going to ask each of you guys, relevant to this movie, what is the difference between a picnic blanket and a Mexican?
no, no.
A
No,
picnic
just skip
blanket
over
can
this.
support a family of 5.
No.
Welcome. We're
Ty
back,
feels like
folks.
free. He's like, yes, I could say whatever I want.
Only because I've known these jokes have been censored.
You,
I'm here all day, folks.
you
Okay,
you're like
I
you're
got
like
one more
home
joke and I'll let you
you're
go.
like Homelander. I could do
I am.
whatever I
I know.
want.
I'm like in the hallway. It's my favorite part of Homelander. No, I have one more joke for you guys. Okay, what do you call a cow with no legs?
A nub.
Legless cow.
Nope. Ground beef. It's pretty good. And
Nice.
what do you call a cow on 2 legs? Your mom. Okay, everybody. Today we're talking about Oddity. This movie came out in 2024 and it was written by Damian McCarthy. Of course, it'd be written by a guy named Damien. Damien's like a cursed, isn't that the name of the devil child?
Yeah.
Satan Spawn, yeah, from freaking Omen. Anyway, Damian McCarthy. This movie is like out now. Where did we find this? Where did you find this? I was looking at
I found out about it
Was
from
it Shutter?
Letterbox, and then
it is on Shutter, isn't it?
I'm following
I think, yeah, I thought it was a Shutter
Shutter
exclusive.
original. Yeah.
the
Original, yeah.
probably, and I'm following the director that did Haunting at Hill House, which this movie has a very similar feel to that.
Mm.
And I was just, yeah, seeing what he's seen lately, and this one popped up.
Stars Carolyn Bracken, Johnny French, Steve Wall, Gwynlyn Lee, Joe Rooney, and then of course our crazy eye, Tad. Oh, I can't pronounce that name. Murphy, Tad D. Okay, TADHG. I think he's missing a vowel there or something. His name is
THG.
as odd as his peculiar eyes, man. His freaking eyes, dude. Dude, I think he really does have crazy eyes. I'm looking at his IMDb. Bro, I don't know if it's a glass eye, but he's got something going on there. Very interesting. So I
Hmm.
guess for the rest of his life, yeah, all of his photos, he's either got an eye patch on or he's got a scar over his eye, dude. I think he really does.
Dang.
Awesome. Anyway, one thing I have to mention here, I don't know if it's a cultural barrier for Ireland. Does oddity mean like scary as heck? Like it's terrifying. Like absolutely terrifying. This movie's not odd. It is so scary. Okay, let's get into it. What were your two, or what was like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? I'll start with you, Grant.
Seen it once. I watched it a couple days ago. Um, like horror movies are one of those things like, well, okay, most paranormal movies I don't usually enjoy, but this one like felt tame enough that I wasn't like checking under my bed like after watching the movie, you know. Like
Yeah,
it was
I compared it
thriller
to
enough.
I
Sixth
was.
Sense.
Sorry.
No, but it kind of reminds me of Sixth Sense because like the ghosts are like actually helping. Spoiler alert.
Hmm. Seen
I
that.
guess there was one ghost. It was like, get out. And you know it's bad when it's even your ex, or let's say it's the other girl. I don't know how to describe it. Like
Oh,
the man
what
you're with, the ex is like, get out. Like,
what lies beneath? That's what I feel like it really compares to, right?
sure, sure. I get it. Yeah. Twist Ellen. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So it was enjoyable. Like I was on the edge of my seat and I just remember I was watching in my office and it was like a really intense scene. And then Elise like opens the door and I was like,
oh, I fell out of your chair.
yeah,
I love it.
it
I
was a good
love it.
watch though.
How about you, Jordan? What was it like watching this movie for the first time, rewatching it for the podcast?
Yes, I love this film. It's great. I like little like when she's like pulling out of that the little holes in the back of the Ty called it Pinocchio, just like
Freaking playing surgeon,
yeah,
like or
she's playing
operation.
yeah.
Operation, yeah.
Like don't touch the sides of the wooden puppet would like wake up, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just every time like
What's
when
wrong with
they
that
like yeah,
chick?
when he like walks in the room and the head's like tilted up or something, you're like,
Oh my fetching goodness. They're
Yeah,
just
dude.
staring up at her.
yeah.
It's
Mouth.
creepy.
I love it. It's great. And
I love it. Let's just go back. Can we just all agree that Ireland people, what is their deal? Who would gift someone this on their fifth anniversary? You must be like tight like this, like with no risk of divorce. Like, why on earth would you gift someone this terrifying,
Yeah.
grotesque puppet with its mouth all contorted open? Like, what purpose does it serve? What is
It was
this?
given to her by her witch mother, Ty. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Like, oh, it was a gift. You don't like my gift? And he's like, why is it out of the chest? Why is it out? It's like, I didn't do it. It's like, oh, just walk out by
that's
itself.
when you say, I want that removed.
I want that thing burned. I burned it. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So for me watching this movie, yeah, I saw the reviews and I just saw the poster. I didn't look too closely because I was like, ooh, is that a monster? Like the reflection is like the blind chick, her hands are out on the table, and then like reflected is this grotesque looking monster with its mouth agape. And I'm like, oh, and then like it was highly rated, and I was like, a monster horror film? Like, let's go. Anytime it's a highly rated monster horror film. So I went in it blind, for lack of a better word, not to offend our visually challenged people, but this movie features prominently a blind person. But I went in this movie blind, just like one of the not protagonists, but the antagonists. And although, does she turn into the protagonist? She's
Yeah, she
antagonist.
starts out, you think she's like
Yeah.
Jamie's
something's
great.
off.
She's awesome. And
Yeah.
she also plays both parts, right? I didn't even recognize her.
Wait, as the sister?
Yeah, she plays the blind
Oh,
and the actual the victim.
wow.
They say they're
Makes
twins, but
sense.
I look at them, I'm like, the hair it threw me for a loop, and then the eyes, dude. If you're gonna be blind in a movie, you have to wear those clear contacts.
Yeah.
Rings of Power has this blind chick in it, and I forget that she's blind. I'm like, why is she looking so stupid and off into space? And it's
Oh,
like,
the queen.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if she's like Daniel Radcliffe and is like, I refuse to put in the color contacts because they hurt my eyes. And they're like, okay. But I'm like, I don't know,
Wear a
CGI, some white
blindfold.
dots in your, yeah, I wear a blindfold or give me some indicator because I keep forgetting she's blind and she just stares like blankly off somewhere. I'm like, just keep reminding me that she's blind. Anyway, it just makes me laugh because
Okay,
keep forgetting. But
can we?
thankfully, there's plenty of indicators. And there was not that line of dialogue that was like, oh, my sister who is blind. Like she shows up, there's very subtle hints. She's sitting in her shop. Carefully moves and reaches out her hand before she sits down. There's it's good show, don't tell. I just thought that was great. So nice job, movie. You did a lot of that. Go ahead, Jordan. You were saying something. I cut you off.
Well, no, I guess this is be getting into my two favorite things. I just
Do it.
like love that everybody is basically so freaky.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, let's not forget, like, Steve Ball, who plays Ivan, like, the blind sister, very unnerving, and you start to understand why. But then,
I know you're
like,
like, well, like she's
she's
just
like, that
way
other
over.
psycho that works at the insane asylum, he's, a murderer. And you're like, oh, yeah, he
I
is really
know.
creepy because he's all like, hey, what are you doing out of your cell? Or, like, what are you doing out of your bed? And he's like, I'm just praying. And you're like, get back in bed. Don't let me catch you. It's like, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
What are you
Like,
praying to?
yeah, who are you praying to, man?
Yeah, him, let that creepy doll, the or whatever it is, it looks like a tree branch. I don't know. And then the
It's
blind
stick
Yeah,
woman.
man.
I thought it was made of clay until like they
Oh,
explicitly said in the movie that it was a wood, like it was made out of wood. And I was like, oh,
Grant's like,
I thought it was
oh, I
like,
wasn't scared at first because clay, not all that scary. But
well,
man,
no,
when I
I
found out it
just
was
thought
made
it
of
was
wood, I
clay.
flipped out of my
Like, and
chair.
so like I thought it was like moldable, and that's why how it was like moving or something. But it's even
Um,
freakier now knowing it's wooden that it was like changing
this
positions.
little wooden puppet. Grant's just like, oh, it's only made of clay. Forget about it. Not scary.
Uh,
Grant's like, I didn't know clay was so flammable. Um, so dude, Grant, what about you? Two of your favorite things.
I I mean I don't watch a ton of horror, but I appreciated that it felt like the movie was treating the audience as intelligent. There was a lot of callbacks, a lot of show don't tell, and then um so it was just enjoyable to like piece the mystery together and like well I mean I pride myself because I never guess like who does what in like murder mysteries or whatever. But I guess that like the husband was like involved somehow.
Did you get the
And
feeling when he had already had a girlfriend like
yes, that
less
was the.
than a
I was like,
year?
he moved on way too fast. Like, he's like, oh, I met someone. And you're like, sure. You met her after she died.
She was really there for me, like there before my wife was even dead. Yeah, she was great.
Yeah. So there was
So
just a lot of like, and like there would be dialogue that would like explain something that happened without like having to like show that that explicitly happened or something. Like they jump forward in time. They don't really like tell you that as like a,
one
text on
week
the
earlier, yeah, Fade to Black.
well, like it's almost a year later that that event happens where the sister dies, and then there's just like hints of like she gets a message she has on repeat, but it says like 11 months ago, and then it repeats like we are connected and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So like
for
it just
sure.
you felt like it felt fun to unravel the mystery
I like what you
yourself.
said, Grant, because like I feel like it's so easy to, and no one would fault you for just a quick tagline that says like one week earlier or like a year
Right.
later. But this
Yeah.
was really cleverly done where they tried their darndest to ensure that it's like doesn't break that continuity. Like nothing takes you out of the
Mhm.
movie, right?
Right.
I love
Yeah.
what you said, Grant, because I agree. Part of me was like, I got lost in this movie because the opening is such a fun, I don't know. It feels like a Goosebumps stories that you read in the dark. Like you're safely locked alone in this giant place, and there's someone at your door saying someone else is in there with you.
okay. I have a
Yeah.
question for you two.
Do
Would you live in
you
a house
let him
that looks
in?
like?
Uh,
Would you live in a house that
Like
looks
a
like this?
castle?
this look,
No.
I'd live in there. It looks awesome. I certainly
No
wouldn't have a
way.
blind sister-in-law, and I wouldn't, try to kill my wife. Yeah, I don't know why you just wouldn't divorce
Well,
them. And he's like, no, no, no.
I put
I
all
would
that
divorce.
money into that house. She'll take it if we get
She'll
divorced.
take, she'll take it.
that
He's
house
like, it
looks
has to be done.
terrifying.
The house
And it looks
doesn't look all that
cold and
terrifying.
chilly.
I
Yeah,
know, dude.
the
Looks so
walls.
Only when the
uncomfortable.
wooden puppet shows up, like everything was fine before that puppet got in there. Even the tent is
No.
cozy. I don't know.
Well,
Mm-mm.
if your like
The
whole
floor is blood
floor is
stained.
like stone, your all your walls are stone, like
Very
I don't know, it's
modern,
just
very
not
modern
very
chic.
comfortable.
Well, I have
Wow.
4 kids, so the idea of a trap door on
A-
the second story that you could fall through, and like maybe that would give me pause before we move there. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And Ty is the only one in an unfinished basement. Like, it was terrifying. Ty's like, I'm fine. It's okay. I could stay in
Everybody
that
call
place.
attention to how broke I am. Hey, in just a few more months, we'll be seeing this episode. I'll be in my beautiful new finished basement man cave. I don't know. I'll probably just be in my theater room watching movies while we actively review movies. What was that? You guys said something. Keep it down. I'm trying to watch the movie.
That's like Nick. He does the same thing. He's just like watching the movie while
I
doing
know
the
he's
pod.
watching it while the pod is happening. I totally caught him doing that. And he's like, no, I'm just rewatching it. I'm like, so you watched it twice today? It's like, is it also because you just left it on the background and you weren't paying attention and you don't know anything about the movie, so you're playing it again? Like, no, I liked it so much. I'm sure you're just watching it back to back. I'm like, the only person I know that does that is Rich. So yeah. Anyway.
I've
Um, but you've
done it
done that? You've watched movies back to back?
sometimes, only
Only
if
if
it's
I'm
like,
showing somebody that hasn't seen it.
yeah. I was gonna say I rewatched it like with my wife or something.
Sure.
Mm.
So, my 2 favorite things. I like what Grant said about it being just sleek. It's nice. It's neat to look at. But yeah, I think that opener was really solid because after I watched that opener, I paused it, rewound it, and then started it again with my wife because I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie on my own. But then after I watched that opener, I was like, just watch this opener with me. And this guy with the crazy eyes, just like, yeah, call the police. That's a great idea. I was like, I can't find my phone. It's in my car. And he's like, oh, okay, like I'll go into town. I'll find a phone.
Yeah,
And he's
talk
like,
about an
just stay here.
insane opener.
Oh, I know. It's great.
Mm.
And it's so fun too because again, they did a great job at establishing that he's from the insane asylum. And then it's like she's like
Yeah,
reaching
she's
for the
like, "Are you
door,
one of
and
his
you're like, was she
patients?"
that dumb? Was she that dumb to open the door? And then I like when Grant mentioned the quote, like, do I look stupid? It's ironic that this one chick is like, do I look stupid? Asking a blind woman, how does she look stupid? And she's like, I don't know if you look stupid, but you sound stupid because why would you think that my sister would have opened a door to a known psychopath from the institution where her husband works at for the criminally insane or something like that? It's an insane asylum. Can we bring back insane asylums? This movie felt like a throwback. I don't know. We decommissioned all the insane asylums, and as a consequence, all the good horror movies are gone.
It's because Shutter Island was the peak.
No, no. I even think I like Stonehurst Asylum more than that movie. Those like I don't know. Maybe I didn't.
Actually, Stonehurst was all right.
Yeah, Stonehurst was pretty good. I think I liked it more than that. I don't know. Just the whole place up to kill the titty.
Oh my gosh,
It's the
dude,
worst
you
Martin
were
Scorsese.
high.
It's the worst
You're
Martin
so
Scorsese film.
high. Can't
I need to
believe you
watch it
don't
again.
like it.
I don't know. Maybe I don't. I don't think I want to watch that movie again. Anyway, so fun storytelling. The very opener was so good to get me, and then yeah, the callbacks. Like I like when there's a twist, but then there's like a twist after a twist.
Yeah,
Like a brief moment where it was like this and that come back. Oh, I found out that I am an unfaithful husband or whatever, but let me fix this. Leaves. And then you find out that he's removed the trapdoor. That was just such a great moment. And I was like, oh, I love this movie. Like at that
yeah.
moment, I was like, well done. Chef's kiss. Like so perfectly tight-knit story with fun twists and turns. And then like I'm also rooting for somebody that I was so not rooting for. I think that's a pretty impressive turn because initially I'm like, I really don't care for Carolyn Bracken's character, right? She's the blind, evil chick that has this evil wooden puppet. Obviously, she's up to no good. And she claims she's psychic and thinks that something's going on. I'm like, oh, wait, she's actually going to uncover this mystery. And I like how like how she's brought about doing that. I love the Grant mentioned like there's actually a use of time in this because there's the wooden puppet she commands to go like smash the crazy eye's head. And then she ends up taking that eye and is able to witness interviews that took place earlier, like the evil prison guard. And because of that limited information, she thought she had the other guy. It was part of the story, but it wasn't the full story. So she's like, it's the other worker, the coworker that you have because he did it, but then you find out it's as an accomplice.
Well,
Good,
and
good
then
movie.
you find out too that like she finds the husband's wedding ring and she's
Yes,
holding it,
she's
and
holding her ring.
that's where she gets the full truth.
Hmm.
But then
Yeah,
it's so
and
sad,
again, they
like you
don't
said.
explicitly say it. I love what you said,
Yeah.
Grant. You're right. Did they mention it ever? Did he ever say, "I can't find my ring"? Does he ever say it or not? I don't think so. I almost thought that maybe the ring was it could have been her sister's, but yeah, it wouldn't have explained how she knew because at that point she figured it out. So took the
Yeah.
husband's ring. Did he mention it yet? Or maybe he took it off? I'm trying to remember. Like I want to go
I'm
back and
assuming
watch it
he
now.
had it off,
Yeah. Somehow he
since
found it.
he
She found
obviously
it.
wanted to move on.
Right, yeah, he's ready to move on. And again,
So,
which was also funny because like I remember thinking when the other chick was like going through the photos and was like, I think I'm just gonna like delete these photos. And he's like, or maybe you should box them up. And he's like already over it. That was funny that you said you were over it, Grant, because I was like, if I was the other chick, I'd be like, you don't want photos of your now deceased spot, like even to box them or store them away. He's like, I don't care, do whatever you want with them. I'm like,
yeah.
I feel like so when I start getting wrinkly and haggard, you're gonna like dispose of me like you disposed of your last wife. Like, come
Yeah.
on, dude. When someone passes away, it's like 90% of the time it's the spouse or significant other, dude. 90%. Look at police filings. So again, already my bells were ringing when I was like, oh, like she was killed while her husband was at work. But I'm like, there's more to the story, obviously, but then it's revealed. I Justice for Crazy Eye. Crazy Eyes was a good, like a good guy.
I know.
Like in the
Poor guy.
prison wrongly. He met the actual killer and he ended up getting killed by the sister by a wooden puppet. What a horrific death. Had his freaking head squished in. All that left with him was just freaking minced meat in his lazy eye. Oh, so sad.
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
great.
and that whole intro, like we've already mentioned most of it, but just unbelievably freaky. Like they did such a good job, like just like not knowing who to trust. Like either should I let this like creepy guy in, or is there actually
Take my
somebody in my house,
chances
or is he
with him.
lying? Yeah, take my chances.
Well, and I don't remember if it's in the beginning. No, it is later that it jumps back because I think it's the blind lady like retelling the story or something of how she died, and her going into the tent and looking through the camera. Oh, that was so
Yeah, that was
good.
so good.
Yeah, there's a camera that's set up that takes motion
Like time
sensor camera.
lapse
Yeah,
or something.
or yeah,
Time
well,
lapse,
it's a
yeah.
motion sensor though. So like if someone moves,
Oh,
it would go off.
No, I don't think so. It was like a timer that every like 10 seconds it would take a
It's not a
picture.
timer, Grant. It was motion
Well, but there was a lot of photos that was just like of a blank
yeah.
wall.
because every time she opened the door or there was light that would come in, it wasn't just time, dude. It
I think it was time
wasn't
lapse.
time. It was
I
motion
don't think so.
because she walks. You guys are so dumb. You guys are so dumb.
You're
For
so
real.
dumb.
Go back and watch this movie.
Granted, I don't own a camera, so I don't know. But I'm pretty
Yeah,
What is a
sure
yeah.
camera?
at the
Those types
time.
of cameras don't have motion. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
They do motion capture. I don't know. If it was the time, I think that's dumb. Because then it's like, oh,
Why?
you were because if he was moving, it would have clicked if he came in the house. But if it just randomly happened to get him when he came in, it's like what it took the I'm pretty sure it's motion sensor because when she's in front of it, it keeps taking pictures as she keeps moving. And then by the time she finally comes back, it starts taking
But
pictures.
Grant said there was a bunch that there was
Yeah, she's
nothing.
flipping through the camera, and it's a lot of just like blank pictures.
It's her moving through the scene. You'll see it. Go back
Really?
and watch it. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't
Agree
know.
to disagree.
Anyways,
It's a good thing we all closely
It's
watch this video. Yeah.
a good thing we don't edit anymore, so you can listen to us argue for like 10 minutes about one little
Oh,
thing.
see, these are the things that would be taken out, but these are the nitty gritty. People really love the podcast for
The
this.
nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty.
Or
So,
when Ty spends like 10 minutes trying to look up somebody's name. Wait a minute.
dude, it's only when I have Korean actors and Korean directors, I'm like, ni hong, ni nao, mao, sure. I'm like, yeah, maybe we should just edit it all out.
they all look the same.
They all look the same.
Gosh. See, this is the stuff I
I'm
would
like,
edit
I
out.
was
I always
like,
said that
look-
because I've said that before, and you guys made fun of me. Or I don't know if I said it, but you guys like
and Grant hasn't learned a thing. He still
I like
thinks
kept
that way.
mixing up two actors, and you're like, What, Grant? Is it because you think they all look the same?
I love it, Grant, though, because it's so funny because you're saying that their names look the same. But yeah, anyway, that's very funny because I'm like, they all look the same. You're like, oh, you're right. No, I'm saying their names. They're all spelled the same.
I opened
Guys,
Pandora's box.
dude, Jordan is feeling wildly uncomfortable, but his name's not attached to the podcast, so we can say whatever we darn well please. But if you guys have felt the light feeling that you get watching the warm, fluffy feeling that you get watching our podcast, and that has left you, tune out now because we're about to get dark. This guy's head gets smashed and he draws a picture of the wooden puppet. It's like the last thing he sees is this white, deformed face with this giant, gaping mouth. And then the scene where she's like, where are my keys? They're clearly stuffed in the puppet's mouth. So she's like looking in there and she's like, I'm going to reach in there. And you're like, don't do it. It's going to bite her
Really?
fingers off. That's where I would assume that she put the keys. We don't know. She obviously hid them
Well, no. Remember, they end up in the box.
in the box. Okay, so she obviously put them there. But she's like
Oh,
pulling
but
things
then
out
the
of the
puppet.
holes in the back of the head and then like about to reach her hand inside the mouth. I'm like, nope. Couldn't pay me enough money to put my
Okay,
hand in the
okay.
mouth.
That's one of my nitpicks. That Yana, so unfazed by that freaking wood doll just sitting there. She's just like, oh, okay, I'll sit down and have dinner with you. And you're like, what the frick?
Yeah, I would have been out of the house. I'm sorry. I'd
I
be like,
know.
peace.
Like,
I'm out.
She
I'm out.
couldn't. She didn't have her freaking keys, dude. She
you
couldn't
just
leave.
run. Who
I
cares?
know. I feel like I'm gone. Bye.
Run? No. I wouldn't take my chances, dude.
I
Like,
don't know.
where's
She
this?
just felt
Ireland? There could be
very
freaking,
unfazed
I don't
by
know. What
it.
did Ireland have? Angry drunkards? I don't know. I was gonna say like Wolverines or Badgers. I don't know what they have, but they do have angry Irishmen.
Well, but
Place.
but when
They had
you
an insane
first see
asylum a few feet away.
when she first
That's
sees the doll,
weird.
like she knows where the keys are, right? Like I'd have been out of there. Like, oh, I'm gone.
I'm gone. Well, dude, you feel like a
I don't
sense of
remember.
ownership. It's like this lady is overstaying her welcome. Like she shows up and she's like, "Oh, I thought
That's
we'd
true.
celebrate. Wait, I thought we'd celebrate her anniversary."
The
He's like,
three of
"I
us.
never really said that." Yeah, the three of us.
Dude,
And then it's like, "Oh, I guess I'll just stay here and you guys can go." It's like, "Well, I already have plans." And it's like, "Yeah, I guess I'll stay here." And then
and it's so unnerving how she sleeps sitting up.
who sleeps sitting
So
up?
the
The
blind
blind
chick,
girl.
Does she
she's just
sleep
like,
sitting up? Oh,
She's
she's
yeah.
slumped
She's
over.
just
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
and then she's doing operation on the thing, and then takes out the blood vial, and then she stands up. She's like, "Don't." She's like, "What'd she say? Put that back." And you're like, "Oh my gosh,
It's
so
like I
scary."
need it. So yeah. But anyway, the line, we're connected or whatever. That was great. Good
Yeah.
callback. And then you're like, she's also connected to this little wooden puppet. And the puppet gets up and he's like, oh boy. Comes after the freaking comes after the killer, comes after Ivan. That was so great, dude.
I love too how he
Yeah.
fell. He fell like 8 feet, and then he gets a compound fracture on his leg.
Dude, Ireland, Ireland has some
Oh
brittle bones,
man.
dude. Those people, they fall- the
I guess
trapdoor.
that's what you get on landing on a castle of a house, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. See the stone flooring, man? Too hard. You need some carpets, some
Yeah.
soft landing carpet. No, I agree. I thought that was a little funny, but I'm also like, if you do land wrong, it could happen. But and maybe he was so frantic he was jumping. But yeah, that wooden thing coming after him, my goodness, it was good. It was good. Like you see just enough of it, and it's always like around the corner, getting closer and
Yeah.
closer. Um, and then like I said, the promise that we're gonna see it, it delivered because part of me was like, I wonder if we're ever gonna see this wooden thing, um, like come to life, you know? And it finally becomes a real boy and it's chasing him around trying to kill him. It's so insane. So um anyway, the very last thing, fun callback, the bell where she has her hand hovering over it and it's like, well, these objects are cursed because the last few people that rang this bell died. And he goes, yeah, you don't actually believe that stuff. So you have the skeptic in a horror movie. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, this is the kind of guy that would die. And up to the very end of the movie, I'm like, oh, he might not. And then she sends him the bell. And then, of course, he gets it after posthumously it's mailed to him and he rings it. And then he's like, huh, nothing happened. And then it just like pans out to this demon bellhop boy standing next to him. I thought that was great. Not
That
moving, just
was,
standing there.
yeah.
And you're like, as soon as he moves or speaks or gets up, he's dead, obviously. Like, I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was a great callback.
Fun
Yeah.
ending and kind of a cool new visual where you're like, again, if you hadn't been paying attention or missed it, from boring exposition, as Grant likes to call it, dialogue that explains character motivations and character arcs and sets up plots, points, and the world building. Grant didn't miss it though, right? You understood the bellhop
No, I
things.
didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Yeah. So the bellhop at the end, people are like, what the freak? It's a callback, obviously, to the conversation that Declan had with Danny. Although I can't remember, is the girlfriend, is the girl named Danny? My dog just scared me because it's under my table. Uh, I got my hairs just raised, dude.
I think Danny was the wife.
Yeah, was Danny the wife? I can't remember. She plays both characters, but anyway. So the wife, I also thought it was really cool how they used there was an interesting flash cut where like the guy's standing outside her tent, but then like it cuts immediately to him after the victim and it's just like blood
Oh
spattered
yeah.
tent. I thought that was really
Mhm.
cool, like a cool time jump, but also like almost as horrific because I was almost like, oh, maybe she'll like fight him off, and it's like, oh no, like she's dead. She's all over the tent now. So,
Yeah.
but I thought that was, I don't know, I just like the way that they shot this movie, and it was some cool camera work and very spooky angles. The lighting was good. Everything about it,
Well,
dude.
I love too, like, because you kind of um well, because I like too, so the blind lady says, like, I know who did it, and then it cuts to Ivan at the psych ward.
Hmm.
And so it's like visual, like, leading the audience to be like, this is the killer. And it's, well, you find out more that the husband was involved, but um where was I going with this?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Um
Grant's like, and
yeah, I lost
you
my
have a
train of thought.
movie, and it's the most movie that ever movied. Thanks, Grant, for your observation.
Dang it, I had a good point. I forgot it. Well,
Uh,
I'll
maybe we
think of
should
it.
give people the plot. Psychic medium attempts to uncover the truth behind her sister's murder at the site of the crime. Good movie. Good movie, folks. Yeah, and I thought
Sure.
he'd want to move
Oh,
out of
it was
the
the
house.
reveal of the husband, like when he's talking to Ivan after he's apprehended him, like saying, he's like, what will people think if I like signed off someone as ready to go out into the world and I hired him on? So like it explains why Ivan was so willing to do this for him. It's because he was already crazy.
I
And like, well, and he had like a history with this guy, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Well, let's not forget, like Declan's asking Ivan to do this. Okay. If you're listening and you're squeamish, don't listen to this. It's weird, but it made me laugh. Like actually laugh out loud because Declan's like, okay, I need you to kill my wife. And then Ivan's like, okay, now I could kill her, but would it help if there was some sexual angle? And then he's like, no, 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 absolutely not. You just need to kill her. And then he's like, are you sure? Because I could
like,
really
what if it
sell it.
comes
Yeah.
to
But
that?
what if it comes to that? I don't know why that made me laugh so hard, where he's like, maybe. Like, and Declan gets to act like he's so noble, like, no, no, I just want you to cleanly kill my wife. That's it. Don't hurt her. Don't let her suffer. Just and then the way he phrases it, he's like, and then when it's done, he's talking about like the murder of his wife. Like, anyway, what a piece of trash, dude. Anyway, so that actually made me laugh out loud when I um so anyway, the I had to throw that in there because that was just such a funny thing because it made me think of Elf when he's like what is it, the guys that are pitching the book idea, and he's like, well, there's a tribe of asparagus, but they're self-conscious about the way their pee smells, and he's like points at him, he's like, I don't know what, that's what it makes me think of. He's like, maybe if it comes to that, and it's like, no, it's not gonna come to that, and it's like, okay, but it might. That's funny. It's like the most dark comedy it could possibly be, where he's like, if I kill your wife, does it go down like this? Does it happen like this? It might come to this. It's like, nope, it's not going to come to that. And you're like, but it might. That's some dark comedy. So that was delightful. Anyway, um, anything else you guys want to throw out? You guys recommend watching Oddity?
If you like horror movies, yes.
If you like horror movies, Oddity is Parati. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a callback. So anyway, that is a good way to end the podcast. Folks, we end every movie podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately and movies that we're looking forward to seeing. Grant, hit us up, dude. What have you been watching?
Let's see. When was that last on? So
Don't forget, Grant, I'm not editing anymore, so
See, Grant,
I got it right
Jordan,
here.
Jordan's worried about the dead air here, but I don't think people even listen
I
this far into the podcast.
Elise and I watched Mission Impossible 1. I don't know if I'd actually ever seen the first one all the way through. I'd seen a lot of the major scenes of like the drop down into the vault. Yeah, it was really fun
After
watching
the
the first
fourth or
one.
fifth base tear off, I get lost in that movie. I don't think I can follow it. It's like I am John Voight. Actually, I'm Tom Cruise, and under this, I'm actually I don't know who else is in that movie.
Yeah.
Mask upon masks. They should do that for the next Mission Impossible. That someone tears off the first layer, but then there's like another layer underneath it. That would be great. It's like I actually
Yeah,
prepared.
so you tear off the mask, you get them to reveal something, and then you
Yes.
take it
And then
off
you tear
again.
off a second one, and you're like, see, I did that because you wouldn't have expected the two
Uh,
mask. And then there's
that was-
three, third one. And it's freaking Red Skull from Captain America. He doesn't have a nose. Anyway, what else,
All
Grant?
right, and then watched Nightcrawler. I think it's only the second time I've seen it.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's
What'd you think,
so
dude?
good.
That
So
movie's so
good.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Did you have a phone? Yes. Does it have GPS? Yes. You're hired.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
How much does it pay? This is an internship.
This is internship. We'll be
I
discussing
need to
that
get
later.
paid something, man.
I love it. Could I have asked for more? Absolutely.
Oh
Friend
yeah,
is something
so
that you give
good.
yourself. But, yeah, anyway, I love that movie so
Perfect
much.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best
And
Jake
then
Gyllenhaal.
Elise and I watched Edge of Tomorrow, Live Die Repeat, because I hadn't seen it in forever, and it was actually really fun rewatch. So it's been like years since I've seen it.
Off
So
your
I think
knees,
that
maggot. Or is it on your feet,
on your
private? Or
feet, maggot.
on your feet, maggot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any TV shows I've watched. I don't think so. I think that's it for movies too. So
Grant,
oh.
have you watched? I recommend one movie, Rebel Ridge. Have you seen it yet on Netflix?
No, I heard you guys talking about it. It's the Blue Ruin guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blue Room. No, Blue Ruin, Green Room.
And Green Room, yeah.
I
No,
still
I
think
haven't
he
seen
could
it
have
yet.
called it Red Ridge. It would have been a better movie title, keeping up with the color motif. Anyway, he already lost it with Hold the
Well,
Dark, but I was like,
yeah,
dark is kind of a color. I was still holding out for this guy, but Rebel Ridge, no,
Is
it's
it
not
good?
Red
Is
Ridge.
Rebel Ridge good?
It's good. I liked
yeah.
it.
It's like Jack Ryan. Everybody keeps comparing it to that. I've never seen
Jack
the TV show,
Ryan.
but
Oh yeah, yeah. A
Mm.
little bit. I mean, it feels more like I mean, obviously like Blue Ruin, but I don't know.
I'm
To me, it made me laugh because like it's what every leftist thinks every encounter with the police looks like for a minority, but it actually happens. So for the narrative of the story, I'm like, let's go. Like I'm here for it, dude. It's
yeah.
so
The
good, dude.
the
It's
villain,
awesome.
Don Johnson.
He's
My
so good.
gosh, dude.
He's so great.
I mean, ever since Django Unchained, like,
Come get yourself something good to drink. Yo,
yeah.
I for me it's dragged across
And
concrete
Jack,
and
yes, I was gonna say Dragged Across
yeah,
Concrete, and well, yeah,
prison
no, but
warden, right?
in Brawl and Cell Block, he's the warden. He's so
Oh,
good
I'm
in that
sorry.
too.
Yeah, yeah. I actually got that confused. Who is he
He's the
in?
commissioner in Dragged Across Concrete.
Oh, but he's not the bad guy though. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking I
Yeah,
meant Brawl in Cell Block 99.
yeah, the
That
warden.
villain, yeah, the warden, where he's like, I'm gonna lock you up in the most remote place in the world or what. He's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, Don
And I
Johnson's
haven't seen
awesome.
those in forever.
Yeah, dude.
they're so
Dude, Craig
good.
Soller, dude, isn't he coming out with a film soon? Or
Yes,
yeah,
I'm so excited. He's coming out with a new movie. It's
awesome.
called um the sorry, The Bookie and the Bruiser.
Bookie and the Bruiser. Let's
It's
go, dude.
it's like a mafia thing.
Vince
So
Vaughn, right?
yeah, Vince Vaughn again. I'm so excited.
Love it. What else, Grant?
Nice. Oh, and we watched Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. It's always good.
Is there a reason that you jumped to the fifth movie, or is there
Well,
the
so
favorite?
Elise was like, I've seen the first three so many times. She's
Right.
like, pick anyone between 4 through 7. So we watched 4 like a couple weeks ago. So we
Okay.
watched 5. Yeah,
Okay.
It's okay.
Nice.
Five's my
I
favorite. So
I happen to really like the fifth
5's good.
movie, but I dislike the fifth
the
book.
fifth book,
Well, the fifth
That
book is
yeah.
so long,
and he
and there's so
complains the
much
whole
about like
time.
And I'm like,
elves and
shut up,
crap.
Harry. Stop your whining.
Well, I heard J.K. Rowling was going through her divorce, so it was like a lot of just her
Mm.
complaining.
Harry Potter's like, why did you leave me? Wasn't I good to you, Steve? It's like, who's Steve? I'm sorry. I mean, Dumbledore. That'd be so funny, dude. It's just like her mouthpiece. Oh, it's really funny. Oh man, just whining. Stop your petulant whining. I love it. Anything else, Grant, you're looking forward to?
I want to watch Long Legs. I want to watch.
You haven't seen it yet?
Mm-mm.
Bruh.
Grant, get
Yeah,
on that, Mr. Nick
yeah,
Cage,
I
man.
yeah.
know.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's so good, Grant.
Yeah. For people who don't know, I have a Nick Cage poster. He's like got his shirt open.
I have the sainted Nick Cage right behind me, dude.
And well, and I've got the Mandy. You can't see it because of the reflection, but it's the Mandy
Yeah.
Nick Cage.
Mandy, let's
We
go.
all got Nick Cage except Cameron.
I know.
It's
He's
good.
not
Yeah,
on
you
the
definitely
train.
need to watch it, Grant. Let us know what you think.
I feel like there was something else, but you guys go ahead. I've
Don't
other things on
recommend
my
it for
watch
Elise
list.
though. I think it would scar her for
No, I'd
life.
never watch
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
no.
So Jordan, how about you? Movies that you've seen lately, movies you're just looking forward to?
Well, so getting excited about, Mickey 17 or however you pronounce it.
Real quick, isn't
For
this wonderful? I asked Jordan what he's watching, and he didn't passive aggressively say, check out my letterbox. He's
I
just
was
like, he's just happy because he's not editing the podcast. He's here in the
well,
moment, dude.
well,
Love
also
it.
because I can't say check out my letterbox because I don't put the I'm not going to be putting it in the description anymore. So, I mean, I'll just tell you it's Jordo 0, the letter 0. Okay. Um,
The
so
letter zero,
He
the
wants the
number zero.
least connections to the podcast
yeah, I'm
Dude, people
merely
are just outside our windows with pitchforks because we didn't edit one episode of the pod.
I'm so excited about Bong Joon-ho's new film, and I've watched Snowpiercer. Just getting excited about his movies.
Oh, I remembered the other movie that it reminded me of. It's Okja, Snowpiercer meets What Happened to Wednesday or Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
What
what
happened
happened
to
to Monday?
Monday? Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the one it made me think of though. And I was like, it's that movie because I couldn't think of the third movie. And I was like, it's like Snowpiercer and Okja, but I'm like, it's the same director. That's a cheap thing. But there's the cows, the pigs everywhere. I don't know. I saw the Okja pigs everywhere. Maybe they weren't Okja pigs. And then the whole snow or like space motif just made it feel very Snowpiercer, where it's like there's a class system in this dystopian future. But Robert Pattinson really going for it, acting kind of like a dweeb. It reminds me of what I don't know if Bong Joon-ho likes, like Jake Gyllenhaal acting like such a
Yeah,
dweeb in Okja. Like he's just like act as weird and manic and really go for it. I don't know.
yeah,
But
he likes characters for sure.
yeah, yeah. So it'll be
Um,
interesting.
Also, I'm excited for Osgood Perkins, so the same guy Grant that did that Nick Cage serial killer movie.
Long
Um,
legs.
Long Legs. Yeah, he's announced and he dropped a teaser, which I'm like, you just made a movie and you're already dropping a teaser for your new movie. It's a Stephen King short, but it's a movie. I don't know if it's a short book, but it's one of his books. And Elijah Wood's gonna be in it. That's- I love Elijah Wood so much. So and then of course, me and Ty are so excited. Danny Boyle is going to be doing 28 years later.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then
Wait,
they
is this the
also
same universe as 28 Days or something?
Grant, not only
yeah,
that, they're
and
bringing back Danny Boyle, who
Killing
directed it, and Killing Murphy.
Killing
It's the
Murphy.
story, dude. And what's so
Wow.
great is like, what has it been? It's been
It's
like
Dang.
it's
18,
almost
19
been
years.
28 years later. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like
that's
almost two
it's
Dang.
decades
almost been
later. It's so
That's
fitting.
nuts.
And I'm
yeah.
like, do it. Yeah, and now he's off of Oppenheimer fame and like they're returning. And even if it is a shameless cash grab, I've always been wanting months and or years. Like I
Yeah.
just love the story. I love that universe. The raid zombies are so scary. And ever since World War Z, I like peak zombie fandom. I was like, dude, all these are shameless knockoffs of what came before. 28 Days and 28 Weeks were like some of the best zombie movies I've ever seen.
And
And World War Z doesn't really even come close.
and
So
they also are going to drop I just saw an announcement for Den of Thieves 2. I know Ty doesn't care for that movie, but I
Den of-
love it.
Is that the
So
Gerard Butler with the freeway
yeah,
shootout? Okay.
where he's like
I
picking up
it's fine, yeah.
a donut from the crime scene and he's like eating it.
Yeah. He takes a bite and then like part of the
Yeah.
donut falls in the
Well, and then he
crime.
hucks it back into the crime scene.
He hucks it. That's right. Oh,
And
he's
then they
funny.
dropped a new trailer for Terrifier 3, which comes out next month, and I'm so excited. There's
Yeah,
just
I
a scene
can't
of him with
stomach
a chainsaw,
Terrifier.
like coming through the shower, just chopping people up. It's gonna be great.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, and they announced that he's gonna be coming to Call of Duty. Oh,
Yes. Great. So you can be a terrifying, murderous clown on there.
Yeah.
but yeah, and then
Great.
Rebel Ridge, obviously, very good. I love actually Hold the Dark is kind of I watched it the second time and I still like it. Like, I don't know, I liked it better than the first time.
Did we
Just saying.
do a review of Rebel Ridge? Was that our last review?
No, we didn't review it.
What was our last review, dude? Meals on Wheels?
Yep. No. 21 Jump Street.
Oh
Oh yeah.
yeah, I forgot to even add that in here. I didn't do the red box because we talked about it. I forgot to red box that or red box letterbox
Letterbox.
it,
Redbox.
yeah. Red box.
Throwback.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that would have been when would that have been? What was last week or that was 2 weeks ago?
I don't know.
I think it's been
No.
2 week
I think it's 2
hiatus.
weeks.
Has it
Maybe
been two?
3. I think it's been 2 weeks because we skipped last week, but we didn't skip this week. So this week we did not skip. Thought I should mention that on the
Imagine
podcast.
that.
What are we doing here? We skipped this week, everybody. My basement's making weird noises.
You
Okay, that
shouldn't
was
watch
scary.
scary movies.
I know, dude. Okay, all I have been doing is watching scary movies, so I'll start backwards. I just watched Cobweb last night with Anthony Starr, our boy Anthony Starr, Homelander, and his
Uh,
wife, who's
Oh,
in
Cobweb. That was a fun one.
it was
Yeah.
it's like a Hansel and Gretel meets I don't know basket case or whatever. It's like a terrifying like a little boy's being raised by parents that are super off, but then he
Yeah,
happens to
dude.
have
Anthony Starr is such a great, creepy
yeah.
dad.
Oh, did I say the name right? Yeah, Anthony Starr, right?
mhm.
Yeah,
What did I
Anthony.
say?
Anthony or
I think you said
Anthony?
that.
It's weird. It doesn't have a th, but I assume it's Anthony because I don't know anyone named Anthony.
Well, isn't
Anthony?
it like an English thing? Anthony?
Anthony? Anthony Starr. Anthony, good old Anthony. Yeah, Homelander. I'll just call him Homelander. If you're Homelander's kid in a movie, like run or get therapy, like there's no hope for you. Like if you're Anthony Starr's kid in a movie, like you actually might need real life therapy after this session because he's so unnerving and he's so good. Um, anyway, so that was a lot of fun. I rather enjoyed it and it freaked me the freak out. Like you mentioned with Oddity, I wasn't checking or scared. After watching Cobweb, I think I do have a phobia of spiders, but like I've tragically killed some small spiders in my day. Like if it's any bigger than like if it's a wolf spider and I can see the hair, not going near it. If I walk into a web, I do the creepy dance, you know. Get away. But I really don't care for spiders. They're so scary. And so my deep fear and hatred of spiders also combined with my deep fear and hatred of people, they made a person spider hybrid that really worked for me. So anyway, Cobweb was good.
Really?
Highly
Mm.
recommend it. It was weird. It was very weird, and I like that it does a little bit of bait and switch. It felt very like Tim Burton-esque. It felt like the movie Coraline. I think it mostly follows that beat, but then it
Ah,
takes
yeah.
a
That's
turn.
an interesting comparison.
Anyway, it made me think of it because those parents are scary in that one, and the parents are scary in this one for different reasons. And there's plenty of twists and turns. The movie was overall rather enjoyable, and it was just different enough that I enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
because I'm on this horror movie kick, so like I said, after we watched Oddity, I was like, let's just go through horror movies. I had never seen Carrie before, the 1976 version.
Really?
I'd never seen it.
Brian De Palma.
Yeah, Brian De Palma. And I remember watching that movie and thinking, wow. And I used to think that men were the problem, but it's definitely women.
Yeah. No, just how they treat each other. Those
Yeah.
girls are some of the most evil women I've ever seen in my life.
Like
That mom.
John Travolta's just a happy-go-lucky guy who's got a girlfriend trying to make it through high school, and his own girlfriend like was like, she's like, I hate Carrie so much. So funny. Um, and then like all the other chicks, yeah, are just they're out to get Carrie. And then like even the
And that
one
mom.
character, oh my gosh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on the mom. You must repent of your sins and you must She was insane. The mother was absolutely insane. She was so bonkers. She was so great. I remember watching her and being like, oh my gosh, like, did every single like everyone watching this movie in the 70s was like, is that what evangelical Christians are like? And maybe that's the case, but like somehow that's the staple of like a very overbearing, scary mom that like punishes her kids relentlessly, like the puritanical you know,
Did,
my daughter's a sin and was born in sin and I should have just killed her, like it's just like all those
did you
things.
have the ending spoiled to you at all on like a top 10 list or anything on YouTube?
The very, very
Jump
last jump
scare?
scare. Yeah.
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 Ah,
I
bummer.
did, but even watching it, like there were still plenty of other jump scares. They do the trills of Psycho, the freaking
Mm.
violin, ring, 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 like many times throughout this movie. Brian De Palma was like laying hard into it. There's scenes where like every time she uses her powers, unlike Matilda, where it's like charming and lovely, Carrie uses her powers and it like shatters mirrors, it gets people killed, it blows things up, sets things on fire. It's insane. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than like I finally watched it and I remember thinking like it, it was good, but one thing that bothered me, and I don't know why I'm fixated on this, but like the gym teacher is supposed to be like the advocate for Carrie, and she's like, "Girls, why are you bullying her?" Like, because Carrie's finally becoming a woman and all the other girls are bullying her and she's like relentlessly picked on and she's like her advocate and then like the popular guy in school is asking her to prom and even the teacher knows like why are you asking her, like you have some ulterior motive, and it's like no, I just want to ask her to the prom. And this whole time it's building up to this moment and then like when it finally happens, spoiler for anyone that hasn't seen a 1976 film like I haven't, this is the first time I watched it, they put a big bucket of pig's blood and it falls on top of her, and then everyone's laughing at her. There's nothing funny about a bucket of pig's blood falling on someone, like ever. It's never been funny. It's horrifying. It would be a gasp. And then, like, I guess if you hated someone so much, you would laugh at their expense, which is what some of the kids would do. But even the teacher, the PE teacher, who's her advocate, starts laughing uncontrollably at her. Like, the one person who's been fighting for her, protecting her, standing by her side, being her advocate when everyone else was mocking her and teasing her. She even starts laughing at the fact that this bucket of pig's blood is drenched and dropped from very high up on the stage onto her head. Uh, and then the pail falls and hits the boy on the head. I thought that was funny too, like just in a comical like anyway. So that did make sense to me because I'm like, it wasn't that funny. I don't know why that was included, but she was even laughing. They did a remake with was it Zoe Kravitz or no? What's her
I don't,
name?
yeah, I don't
Not
remember her
Zoe
name.
Kravitz. It's the hit girl from Kick A. Um, I I didn't see it. Did anyone see the remake of Carrie?
I did.
Was
It's not great. It's not good.
Can't say the 1976 movie was great either. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's fine. And maybe it is
I
tough because
really,
so many movies have knocked off of it and it makes it tired at
I
this
really
point.
enjoyed
So
it the first time.
sure.
I can't remember it, but I tried to rewatch it and I can't get into it, which is just weird because I remember liking it.
Jordan watches the first 2 minutes over and over. Can't get into it. And it's just like voyeuristically going through a woman's locker room at the beginning. Yeah. Movie
Yeah, I
doesn't really
felt
hold
it
up in my
does feel
opinion. Yeah.
pretty gross at the beginning. You have to like skip through it.
Brian De Palma, dude. Get that guy locked up, dude. Do we know anything about him? Is he already locked up? Anyway, okay, and then I went to the movie theaters and I watched Am I Racist by Matt Walsh, which is like the Daily Wire guys. And I went and saw it with a friend. He wanted to go see it, and I was like, yeah, we should go see it because I was like, I'd be interested to see like a movie that feels so taboo to talk about and to watch. But I went to my theater and the movie theater box that was showing, it was graffitied. So people are upset that this movie got made. People are upset that this movie is asking the question, am I racist? Matt Walsh goes on this journey to become a white ally and to help minorities getting his diversity, equity, and inclusion license. And like it's like a Borat style interview where he just brings on people that yell at you about how you're racist and tell you you need to do the work to stop being racist and become anti-racist. And how do you do that? You can't, but you can pay them money so they can yell at you. And so it's really funny. The funniest gag is that every time he asks someone to come on his show or like to talk to him about it, he puts like how much he had to pay them to come and just yell at him about how he's white and he's evil and inherently the system's all rigged and everything against minorities. And it's very interesting because it's amazing to see what a grift racial tensions can make and like how much money there is to be had being a race hustler. So I thought that was really interesting. They talk on the Jesse Smollett scandal where he claimed that two MAGA white wearing people doused him in bleach and put a noose over his neck, and the whole story was fabricated and it was a lie. And you're like, it's so crazy because he's lying on the interview, on this interview, and he's crying and he's like, I just hope the people that did this get caught. And you're like, yourself. And he ended up getting caught and no one wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole, but I guess he thought it would launch his career. And like, yeah, he had a moment in spotlight, but then they do an investigation because file a fake police report. It's a federal crime. No, I don't know if it's federal, but it is a crime. And
Yeah.
so he gets caught. Anyway, it's just so funny because you're like, the story was so wildly racist. You'd be like, wow, does that really still exist today? And the whole media ran with it. No one bothered to check until it finally came out that he lied about it. And everyone just like, well, I guess we'll move on. That was embarrassing. But there's still people that tout it like it really happened. So anyway, the movie was really enlightening. And I actually laughed out loud. There were some great Nathan Fielder-esque moments where Matt Walsh, like, he brings out this feeble man in a wheelchair and he's like sitting there like shaking and he pretends it's his uncle. And then he goes, "This is my uncle." And and I call back to a joke I made earlier. He goes, "Uncle, last Thanksgiving you told a joke about what the difference between a Mexican man and a picnic blanket." So he's like, "You shared that joke, and that was not funny." And he starts yelling at him and berating him. He has a bunch of people in this seminar to try to overcome their whiteness and overcome racism or whatever, how to be less racist. And there are people in the crowd, they're listening to Matt Wallace like berate his uncle. And at the end of it, one of the ladies is like, she's of Mexican descent. She goes, "Yeah, man, F you." And she starts yelling at the uncle too. And like the uncle's like a feeble old man. And everyone's just like yelling at this uncle, and everyone just like gangs up on him. And like, this is an actor. None of this is true. And Matt Wallace was just allowing everyone to just like take out their vitriol. And it's amazing how much this mob mentality can take hold of people with no proof of evidence. Like you just hear from someone that he's a bad person, and you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, it must be true. Like, why would they lie about this?
Mm.
So he's like, he's a piece of crap. It's just so incredible. And so it's a real Nathan Fielder moment where he's allowing people just to get upset and start yelling at him. It's just like this old feeble guy. It is so funny, dude. And at the end of it, he starts wheeling him off and he goes, "Okay, thanks, Uncle Bob. I'll see you at Thanksgiving or I'll see you next weekend," or something. And you're just like, after yelling at him and berating him and then having other strangers just yell at him, like, "Yeah, everything's fine now. I'll see you next week." It was just so wild and so funny. So yeah, Am I Racist was actually laugh out loud funny and it is wild. So it was a really good movie watch. I highly recommend you guys see it in the movie theater. So go with other people though. It's a good watch. So that was that. And then I watched one last one here. Uh oh, well, so did I mention Monkey Man or not? Did I mention I watched the Monkey
I
Man?
don't think so.
It was really good. I liked Monkey Man.
Mm.
Felt a lot like John Wick. It
I
was
like the
directed by
first
Dev
half.
Patel. You like the first half? What do you mean?
I like the infiltration and like him trying to take out like the revenge story about that one guy. But then,
It goes through the whole story. Doesn't get revenge till the very end.
yeah, well, but he was right there. And then all of a sudden people started breaking in. And then he is like, no, got to spend another hour to come back and fight him again. So he like tries to jump out the window. Like, I'm like,
Were you just bored when he goes to the village and they're all like having him punch a sack of flour or rice and he's like
yeah,
training?
I mean that. And then it
It
just turns,
slows down, but
it
it's
does.
like,
But,
yeah.
and then it just becomes a John Wick movie. And I'm just like, I'm done.
I rather enjoyed the fighting scenes. I thought they were cool. I also liked the fact that he like worked in the wrestling ring with my boy from District 9. I can never remember his name. That South African dude. It's like, in this corner, we got the monkey from, and he's like, and we got the cobra here, and then like they're fighting. He's like, yeah, how about that? Anyway, he's hilarious. Um, he was also in Beast. He was the African guide or whatever with the rifle, the hunter. He's an amazing actor. I should look up what his name is. Hardcore Henry, District 9. Anyone? You know what I'm talking about?
I
You
know
have no
who he
idea who I'm talking.
is.
Okay, you know who he
He
is.
plays Chappie's voice. I'm Chappie.
Chappie. Yeah, he plays Chappie.
I am live. I am
Also, yeah,
consciousness.
Neil Blomkamp, dude. I think Neil
I'm
Blomkamp has him on speed dial, dude. I am Chappie. I'm consciousness. So anyway, Monkey Man was fun. Dude, the fight scenes were sick, dude. Two scenes in the kitchen that were so awesome. And he's just flipping around, throwing bottles, smashing them over people's heads, throwing knives, uh, blowing things up. So cool. Highly recommend it. So that was fun. Um, and then I watched Pocahontas. What an amazing film that was. That's 5 stars. Beautiful. And I just remember watching it being like, wow, like they made this
The
2D
original?
action. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's the original. It's the 1995 Disney one.
Yeah, the Disney animated one.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Right.
I don't know why I said sure. 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 Let's
Whatever,
go with
man.
that. Let's go with that. I just don't know if it's the original. I'm sure there might be a version before it. And you bet your bottom dollar they're going to come out with a live action remake.
Yeah.
And it's going to be just as boring as the Killers of the Flower Moon.
No, as
Really great.
Mulan, not Killers of the Flower Moon is so good.
I love the
You're
trailer. The
high.
trailer is like one of my favorites. And then I'm on its Daily Wire binge. I watched Terror on the Prairie. It was Gina Carano. It was like a gritty spaghetti western. Some really, really cool gritty western violence and some really cool action set pieces that were really fun to
Man, you
watch.
and your westerns, man.
The movie was awesome. Terror on the Prairie. But then, so did I mention Sicario and Mandy? I don't remember if I mentioned those. I watched both Sicario and Mandy double feature, and I was like a
Dang.
perfect movie and Nick Cage movie, which I know they sound like the same thing, but they're not. But anyway, but yeah, Mandy's so freaking good. But Sicario, man, every time I watch it, it just gets better. So Benicio del Toro, I think I like him as an actor, even though I don't think I like him in anything else. Is this the only movie I like
I
him
love
in?
him in Reptile, but that's just me.
Oh, he was good in Reptile. That's true. I'll give you that. I'm just trying to think, like, was he in Dog Day Afternoon or what was the other movie he was like?
No, that's Al Pacino.
I think all Italians look alike. What's no Vinicio del Toro, what's his name?
He was in the Wolfman
Usual
remake,
Suspect.
which I'm
Oh,
so excited for the new Wolfman.
oh yeah, there's
Freaking
like I didn't see the trailer for it, but that's coming out, right? Like the new is it
yeah,
kind of like as the Invisible Man, like the Wolfman
yeah, I
thing?
just
Yeah,
love
like
that that's the same director of what's the one where he's like, I'm drowning. That's the,
what?
it's the movie Grant only watched half the movie of it. It's
I'm
chapter
drowning.
3,
Oh, Insidious.
Insidious.
I'm
I'm drowning. I don't
drowning.
remember
Remember the
that.
dad, remember he's like, can you help me out here? I'm drowning. Like, because the dad's like asking his daughter for help. You don't remember?
I don't
Okay.
remember that
No, I don't
line, but
remember that
Okay.
line. That's
oh
funny.
wait, was that the third one? His like
Yeah, chapter
wheelchair
3.
daughter, his hand,
Yep.
yeah, his daughter's got broken legs, and he says, "I'm drowning." I have to see it. All I can think of right now is freaking Wish Upon and thinking about dad dumpster diving. Sorry, not the same thing. Anyway, so yeah, lots of movies. What I'm looking forward to, I'm gonna be on this horror movie binge. I'm watching all these classic horror movies. Do you guys have any recommendations? Because I'm happy to take them.
Yeah, I just
Otherwise,
watched Pulse, and make sure you watch the original, not the garbage remake.
okay, sounds good. Pulse.
But
When's that
it's the
coming
same
out?
director of The Cure.
Okay. Is The
So
Cure the one with the insane asylum with the Green Goblin actor from Amazing Spider-Man?
no,
Oh,
no,
it's a
no,
Cure for
no.
Wellness. I'm sorry.
Cure for Wellness. The
I thought
Cure is the
the
Korean
Korean
film.
one? Oh my
Oh no,
gosh.
no, Japanese. Is it Japanese? I'm so bad at this.
I don't know. They're all the same. Um,
No, not. And so it's the one where he's a
Uh,
detective and he's trying to catch the a hypnotic killer guy. He like convinces people to kill
I
themselves.
know Cure.
Okay,
Amazing
anyways, sorry.
movie.
So Pulse is really good. It's
Okay. Directed by the
um
same guy?
yeah, and it's crazy because it's about like when the internet first started and people like there's a spear of like what'll happen. And anyways, the people like and it has one of the freakiest scenes I've ever seen. Like I had to stop it, run upstairs and start it on a regular screen because I was watching it in a theater room. And it is seriously one of the most terrifying scenes I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Okay, right on. You got my interest. Did I watch Bedeviled? Did I ever see that? Because that's still on my watch list, or did I finally watch
No, I don't think you did. You need to watch that one
I
too.
didn't even watch that one. Bedeviled, and you watch so many movies, so many movies. Anyway, guys, this has been Future Hit Movie Gems. got nothing but love for you folks. Take it easy, stay safe, stay out of trouble.
I
Leave us an
apologize for
email.
my brother. Now you actually get to hear him uncensored.
Yeah, you're like, wow, this guy's a real piece of trash. Jordan really made him seem like he was a really upstanding guy. Don't meet your heroes, folks, because if you ever meet him uncensored and not uh their passions. The good thing is the longer the episode goes, the more likely that they're either to tune it out and not listen to it, or they're going to look for it because it's almost the same length as the actual feature film, and they'll look for it and find just our review. So it's good
Yeah.
stuff. Well, folks, leave us an email,
Peace,
futuremovies@gmail.com. This has been Future Hit Movie Gem signing out. We love you. Peace.
Bye.
Put those fingers in those bowling ball holes. All right.